Welcome back to Jack Builds It, and welcome back to my Toyota Mark IV Supra build. This thing looks absolutely amazing. If you've been following along, we have done a ton of work to this car. We have changed out the upper and lower core support. We pulled the rail straight on this side. We replaced the whole apron and upper and lower rail assembly on that side, causing us to also have to repair the firewall. Now that all of this is done, the interior of the car is painted, everything looks great. It's time to go back together, but there's one problem. I don't have an interior, and if you remember what the car looked like when it got to me, it looked like this. And there's pretty much nothing on the inside of this car, so I need to source an interior. I've been looking online, and I've been going all over the place to try to find the parts for a fair price. Now, if you've pieced out parts for the interior on one of these cars, you know that that's big money. And the fact that we don't have door panels, we have a dash, but we're missing some pieces. We have no center console. We're missing a lot more than just the center console. We have carpet, but the carpet is ruined. And we also have the rear trim panels, but just the uppers. We don't have the rear body panel. We're missing probably, I'd say, 10 to 15 different just trim pieces on the inside of the car. Now, I am in luck because you guys have been helping me so much. I've actually located some. And guess what? We're going to go on another trip. We're going to fly somewhere to get some parts. The Supra is one of those rare cars where you can't just go on eBay and find parts, but it's been really fun locating them and finding them all over the United States and all over the world. So we got all the parts we need, and I am super stoked, guys. Look at the back of this car. It is totally full, but I have all the parts, and now I have an interior for the Supra. I have seat belts, I have a back seat, I have the spare tire cover, I have the spare tire cloth, I have the spare tire, I have all the foam. So now on over to Michael's, where we are going to do some drifting. I just got to Birmingham, Alabama, and now I'm gonna get some parts. But before I do that, I want you guys to meet my friend, Michael. Michael, thank you so much for having me over here, dude. I have a serious question for you. I just got some super rare Supra parts, and I wanna see if, yeah, exactly. This is the Supra Whisperer. Guys, if you haven't seen his channel yet, go check it out. I flew 2 days after finding these parts, and yeah. I think you're gonna like it.
I would never do such a thing.
Nah.
This is like a pirate finding treasure, like.
Bro, my wife thought I was crazy. When I found these online, I told her, I think I got this for a really good price. I'm gonna tell you what I got it for later, but I wanna see what you would charge or what the market value of all these would be if you were to sell these online today. And I mean, they're minty. Like, there's no scratches. There's like one big scratch on a panel, but everything else is good. Dude.
The privacy cover?
For real.
Really?
Nobody has these.
Oh my gosh. So this is the privacy cover that goes in the hatch, and there's retractable cords, which your car does have the cords in it. So
I saw that.
Oh my God. I was like reluctant because I'm like, he's never gonna be able to use these cords because he'll never find this cover. And literally, here you are with the cover immediately.
No.
Caps, we got the caps.
Yep, there's a few caps missing on some of the parts, but I think I can source some of those.
I got you. The rear body panel.
In good condition, one little crack, but I'm not worried about that because I probably will recover this interior completely like I did with the Evo.
There.
Got the foams.
Gosh.
Seat belts and bolts.
Let's start right here. You found, this is the OE spare.
And it's good condition.
It's the correct color.
It doesn't look like it's has any cracking. Like, it looks like it's been stored, like, you know, where it's, I could probably go 60 miles an hour on this, wouldn't you?
I immediately found the date stamp.
Where is it at?
Right here. This says FA 516. So I'm assuming this is a 2016 tire, which isn't that old. Like, so that's, in the grand scheme of space saver spare tires, that's not that bad.
So I could drive on that. It's only,
I've seen the way you drive. Okay, so these are the seat belts. You'll see it has the trim on it. they're very finicky. You have to have them totally leveled, because if you don't, like, the car thinks it's upside down and will lock your seat belts.
Yep.
So they're not seized. They're supposed to do that. These are the rear seat belt, the lowers, and I have had a problem where some belts don't clip in with the Supras and JDM cars.
Okay.
Because there's a safety thing with Australian cars where I guess they made them change out the seat belts to the Kaplan brand. Ran into huge issues selling seat belts to people, and they wouldn't clip in, so I'd have to send buckles and all that. So it's kind of a nightmare.
Here's the check.
You're good.
Dude.
You're good. Okay.
Golden. So I have all the seat belts. So, you know, it's because it's a family car. It's got 4 seats.
Yes.
How about you get your calculator out and you calculate all the prices on these parts and you tell me what you think I got this for? Because I think you're going to be surprised.
Because this was definitely OE, I'm just going to say 150 bucks.
Okay.
On the spare with the hold down. Front seat belts and rear seat belts with the buckles. Typically the fronts are $350. The rears are roughly $250. Then you have the buckles. So we'll just say $550 for all of the seat belts. I don't know how to put a price on this because I've never had one to sell. I'm gonna put a conservative $300 price tag on this because I know it would immediately sell for that. I'm gonna put a price tag of $200 on this. That
Okay.
would easily sell for $200 like the day you posted it. Speaker grills, I sell these all day, every day for 150 bucks for the pair.
$150 for speaker grills.
They'll sell immediately. These two trim pieces, I've sold these for $250 before. We have the rear body interior panel, easily $300 on that.
Awesome.
This foam alone, you're looking at $250 easily. This lower trim, I sell these and others sell them for $450 without the speaker grill. So just this panel. This is separate from the upper. These uppers, $250. These in this condition, those I would ask $500 for, but
A piece or the same for
the
both?
pair. These rear seats, $900. All day, these, no tears, no nothing. This easily $550. All right, grand total, $4,800.
$4,800. Dude, and that was with all conservative pricing.
If I didn't know you and I said, look, this is this much, if you come pick them up, I'll hook you up. $3,500.
$3,500. Okay.
And then we'll shake on it.
Deal, right?
I feel like, and that's a deal for you because it's a bulk thing. It's good for me because, you know, whatever. That's what I would ask for to anyone that is a respectful, normal Supra fan. Like, I'd hook them up $3,500.
Dude, that's a steal still too, because
yeah, that's a steal. For these are mint, like these are very good condition.
so I paid, guess, take a guess, it's less than that.
$3,000.
Keep going.
25.
Keep going. $2,000 for all of this, including the seatbelts, everything.
Freaking way,
Dude,
no
$2,000, bro. I know you have something else. I need a few extra parts, so we're on a mission. Let's go find some.
You want to come see my honey hole?
Clarify
Supra
this.
parts. There's more stuff to pick through. As you know, I'm moving into a shop. So it's chaos here, and I just was throwing everything I could find into the truck when I took the car to Jack and Freddie. So now let's see if we find anything he personally wants, because I found a few things already that I know he's gonna need, and let's see what he wants.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's go.
I just want to give a big thanks to my friend Michael Elsey. This guy is such a great guy, and 3 years ago when we met at Drift University, little did we all know that we would be all making YouTube videos building really cool cars together. So if you haven't checked out Elsey's World, go over there and subscribe right now. Okay, so I have been looking everywhere for Supra parts, especially interior parts, and I've found them, but they all cost a ton of money. I've been looking on sketchy websites, forums, everything you could possibly think of to try to find these parts because they're like unobtainium
And because my car is not native to the US, it's native to another country, I'm going on websites that are built in other countries that have no authentication and no way to know that I'm protected from these things. But thanks to today's sponsor, NordVPN, I can protect myself while finding these amazing parts. NordVPN is my go-to for staying safe online. It hides my IP address, encrypts my internet traffic like a bulletproof shield against hackers and traffickers. Whether I'm on sketchy Wi-Fi at Parts Swap or just digging through some forums at home, it keeps my internet provider, advertisers, and shady parts hustlers from snooping in my data. With servers in over 110 countries, I can even tap into a global marketplace with super fast speeds and security thanks to NordLink Protocol. Use my link in the description, get a 2-year plan plus 4 extra months free, and it's risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro has fake shop detection feature. You know how you're online shopping for some parts, and one click and you're on a scam site looking for a cheap bumper or some unobtainium parts that's just too good to be true. Those fakes grab your cash and vanish, and normal VPNs don't catch that. I've been using NordVPN to keep my online sales safe when I'm buying parts for this car, and you guys can do the same by going to NordVPN/JackBuildsIt, and you can save and add 4 months extra to a 2-year plan for free and get 30-day guaranteed money back if you don't enjoy this. Guys, seriously, protect yourself online when making purchases. Now, let's get back to buying some more Supra parts so we can finish this car.
And welcome to my nightmare. So I do not like wiring, but I think this is something that we can figure out here. So by we, I mean me, because I'm by myself, and I remember taking this out and I remember finding a lot of bad wiring, as I'll put up here on the screen. There was open exposed wires hitting bare metal. This thing was a fire hazard waiting to happen. Now I am going to inspect everything on this wiring harness and try to find any problem that might be on it. I am going to cut off the old loom, clean the harness, put the harness back together, make it as clean as possible, and then reloom the entire harness. I'm tired just thinking about that, but let's take a look at what's going on with this wiring harness. I am really hoping that it's not that bad. I feel like I've said this before. Now over here, we have the antenna that definitely wasn't for the car. And if you remember, when we were taking this out, we couldn't even get it out because they had a box that was cut into the lower floor section for this piece to fit into. Now, not really sure why they did that. I mean, I would have just deleted it anyway. It's not like anybody listens to the radio anymore anyway. So we have a ton of excess antenna wire here and a plug that looks like it has been replugged into the factory plug here, if I can find it, that one right there, and that leads all the way up to the front going into the factory harness for the receiver for the radio. I'm sure that probably plugged into the back of the radio. I think these right here were for the other antenna, and these were the parts that sent power to the antenna when the car came on and told the antenna to come out of the quarter panel. Now they have some push connectors here that look like they're a little bit worn out, not too bad, but I've tracked these down and they're at the front of the harness here. Let's go take a look at that. Now back to the front of the harness, like I said, we have 2 wires leading out of here. Now these were not the same wires, and that is because they've extended the wires and spliced them in right here. But if you can see, that has the exact same markings and is the same colors. So I don't know what that went to. I'm not absolutely positive, but what I do know is there is these plugs right here. So if anybody knows what this plug is for right here, I would love to know, because I have no idea what they have done here. This is definitely hodgepodge together. But we have 2 wires that match the wires that are on this piece here that are supposed to go into this plug right here. So now what I'm assuming is this is the plug that fed the power that gets the message from the ECU to extend the antenna. So hopefully that should be okay. I don't think there is any issues with that we're gonna run into later on. But what I will do is I will basically remove these pins, remove these wires, and then we should have a clean harness. Because remember, we're not going to be running a regular radio on this car. And then we have a shielded wire here that was running out outside of the car, and this is the boot that it comes out of. And I assume this was for the O2 sensor that goes to the exhaust. And of course we have the sub harness for the fuel pump, which is right here. Now, I'm not worried about any of this. I think this is all very easily fixable. The problem is I need to track all of this down and make sure there's no other cut wires or anything that is exposed, because if we have something where another wire rubs, all of this hard work goes for nothing because it's gonna burn to the ground. And that would suck, my friends. So, what I'm gonna do now is I am going to disassemble all of the crap that's on this thing, reloom this, And then I'm gonna put it back in the car. Here is the wire in question. Look at that. All of the sheathing on this wire has gotten melted because this wire got way too hot. Now over here, this wire basically tracks back into several places, but not only does it track back into several places, you can see for whatever they've done here, they've let it hit other wires. So we have an exposed wire right here. This white with a black stripe is exposed. We have a few more where the sheathing has gotten heated up pretty good and melted. So now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to figure out where these were supposed to go. Ooh, yeah, look at that. There's your sheathing right there. So something happened, something grounded out. It was either caused by them or this was caused by just something over the time rubbing, but that is no good. And it's kind of crazy because it melted itself in several locations. And you can see they repaired this by putting a bigger wire. Now, I don't know if that's necessary. It might have been, but this is definitely something that was caused by improper wiring or something rubbing through. And I'm gonna guess improper wiring since we've seen so many things different on this car. Not all these wires were salvageable, but some of them, all I needed to do was reclip them, take out the added piece that they had put on here, and then use a non-insulated butt connector with some heat shrink. Use the good heat shrink, guys, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the other stuff sucks, and this one with the glue inside of it is absolutely awesome. With all the wires repaired, everything traced back to where the damage was, I wrapped the entire harness in some tape so that I'm able to keep this thing nice and clean as well as safe from any scratches or scrapes. Now we are finished with the dash harness, and there was a lot of shenanigans going on in here, and you can see this. I don't know if it's going to focus, but this here is a melted wire. This wire got exposed somehow and caught almost on fire basically and melted down around all the other wires. So I had to trace it back, and I actually found another exposed wire that was right next to this, and it looked like it was a section that could have gotten nicked while this dashboard was coming out, while it was going back in. I can tell you one thing, this car is no virgin, as you guys already know, and that dash probably came out several times, and that's what caused this thing here to catch fire. Not only that, we have some hodgepodge together stuff right here. Take a look at that. That's great. They just wrapped it around, throw some solder on it, and it's good. You got a wire nut right there and a wire nut right there connecting another 4 wires right there. I think that would be 4, right? Maybe it's 5 technically right there. So 2, 2, 1, yeah, 5 wires in that section. Again, we have another soldered wire. This time they at least attempted to cover it up with some electrical tape. You got a green wire here, and it's turning blue on this end, which tells me that because of these connections and all the stuff going on here, this wire probably was starting to get hot or something happened to it, causing this thing to change colors. And the funny part is if you look at it, look where the color change starts. It's right where they spliced in here. Now that means there was a lot of amperage being drawn from there, and it was causing this thing to overheat. So all of that is done. We have replaced pins. We have replaced all these other things. I mean, there you go. There's another one. There's so many of these that are really, really bad. But now take a look at the harness. It looks nice and clean, very smooth. We should be good with that. There was only 2 wires on this that I'm not exactly sure where these went. Now I traced back everything into the harness, and I did not find anything that was suspect or anything that I could find that would indicate these wires went to something else. So I don't know if they clipped these wires and then pulled a plug off of them. I even pulled this all the way back to over here and did not find any wires where this would splice into or lead into another one. So because of that, now I feel very confident that even if this doesn't work, we will still be able to figure out what is going to this plug right here. There is no more exposed wires. We have gone all the way to the very end with this. This should be, for all intents and purposes, good. We're gonna call it good. I hope it's good because I wrapped it all the way up, and if I didn't find those wires, we could have another fire on our hands. Either way, it's wrapped up. It's good. It's good. It's gonna be fine. Now I'm gonna go over there and dissect all of the stuff that they have added on to the body harness and repair some of that there, because the exact same thing is going on there, where they have tapped into several wires, causing more issues. As you can see here, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this. I'm gonna have to fix this too. I just caught this now. This wire right here. Actually, no, that's actually, it's okay. That wire's okay, but that was burnt on sheathing from the wire that got very, very hot. Sweet. The first thing I'm going to do, and I wanna make sure that I do this right now, is remove this gigantic, ugly, unnecessary antenna, because it's not going back on the car, because we shaved the hole for that. So it is not gonna be on there. So all of that is out of the way. That goes under here, through here, and it basically runs all the way up here. I'm not gonna be using any of that. So now it's done. In the bin. While a bit tedious, this is one of the most important steps. I do not want to have any issues later on with this car shorting out and having possible fires. So I took my time to make sure that these wires were done absolutely to the best of my ability.
So after many sore fingers and a lot of wrapping and replacing old loom, we now have a completed, rewrapped, and cleaned up wiring harness. I've taken off some of the clips because I'm going to be replacing those with new ones because the other ones were broken when we took this thing apart. But now that this is finished, I can actually start laying this out in the car. And it's a lot of work still, but I want this thing to be in the car, to be completed, to have some sort of satisfaction with doing all this wiring, because it's not fun.
It's at these stages of massive builds like this where you start to feel some sense of accomplishment. I'm not just taking parts from one car and putting them to another. I have completely taken apart this car and revamped every single piece on this car. If I haven't replaced it with something that needed to be repaired, I've repaired what I've had and I've made it work. This has been the journey of all journeys when building a car. The Evo wasn't even half as hard when it came to locating parts.
Well, major progress has been made with the wiring harness, and as you can see all through this area, everything has been put into place. We have the clips in place, the wires are going through. I do need to put in the little pieces that go right here that keep the wires from chafing, but everything is laid out very nicely. It goes in all right here, comes up under there, and then goes all the way through here. We do need to find another horn plug, not a big deal. That's something we can take care of, no problem. And there is a horn here, and then there's a horn mounted right here. So those plugs will be taken care of. You'll have this plug here for the horn, the ambient temperature sensor. I need to figure out where that goes to so that I can either zip tie this to something or buy a new one so that it clips into place. But as far as this piece here, everything lines up very nicely. It goes in. I do need to get some more of these. These things are a little worn out, and I probably want to just replace them just so they look a lot better. But we have the wiper motor wire going into the cowl. Everything is lining up very nicely. The next thing that I need to do is basically get all of the interior harness done. But before I can do that, I need to get the sound deadening laid down on all of the floor. So right now, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take our newly acquired interior and we're gonna get that down to South Florida over to E3 Customs, where we will visit Matt. We're gonna choose a color. We're gonna do a bunch of different things down there. I'm really excited. We're gonna do something very different on this Supra. Something that's probably, I don't wanna say never been done, but it's definitely gonna be something that's very unique to this car. And if it has been done, there's maybe like one or two other Supras out there. So Let's get down to Matt. Okay, so you can see that it's really dark outside. I am at E3 Customs right now here with the owners, Matt, and we are going to take a look at some materials to put on the Supra, because now you've seen the color, you know how beautiful that looks. We need to complement that with an amazing interior, and that's because this guy right here is really good. So I'm using a phone, guys. The lighting might not be great for my phone because I'm a cheapskate. I need a good camera. So I've brought you a lot of gifts here.
Yeah, this is a full interior. Yeah, everything. It's in awesome shape, and
yeah, it's not too bad, right? Like this is
the body dust is free, right?
Yeah, that actually I'm gonna have to charge you for that because Wando ain't cheap now.
Yeah, and it's expensive, right? Supra.
Look at that. Yeah, Supra. Oh, look at this.
Yep. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of it. So you're helping me right now.
Yeah, there we go. So basically what I've brought you here is a full interior for the Supra. Some parts are good, some parts are bad. We have a brand new dashboard because on the way over here, I actually got a hold of this guy, and his name is Super Steve.
As soon as I see them available, I try to grab as many as I can. I mean, am I in debt? Absolutely. Do I have 23 Supras? Yes.
So you can see these things are pretty worn out. They're not great looking, but we have some. Yeah, we got a seatbelt hole right there. That wasn't me, I swear. I promise it wasn't me. So over here though is the dashboard that I had for the car, and you can see.
This is the one out of your car though, right?
Yes. So it's like, it's separating up here. How bad is this dash on a scale of 1 to 10? And like, what would it take to make this look good?
So this one's actually not that bad. Like normally they warp really bad up here. It's got a little bit on this area, but you can you can still get it to kind of fold back down. This up here is a little bit more of a problem where it's lifting because it's separating from the plastic underneath there.
Okay, so like this right here.
Yeah, the foam is separating underneath there.
Oh, yeah.
So like if you glue it,
it'll hold down for a little bit, probably.
Not really. So what it does is it glues the bottom layer of the foam down, awesome, and then the next part above it rips, and then you just keep going until, whatever.
So you're essentially just stacking stuff and showing until it finally holds, hopefully.
Maybe. And even then it'll get all wavy and bumpy. So what you do is you just ignore that and then wrap down into that and pull it as tight as you can, maybe staple it on the other side to hold it down. But yeah, fixing this is a little bit interesting because you're just chasing the same problem over and over again.
So technically, I mean, this is like a 30-something-year-old dash, so it's 32 years old. I have one over here. I'm not exactly sure what the age of it is, but
this one's in better shape.
This one's in way better shape. So it's funny because last night I was basically talking to Michael Elsey, and I was like, hey, dude, I need a dash. And he made a couple phone calls, and of course, Michael is the Supra whisperer. I mean, dude, he found a Supra behind a trailer in the woods where a guy, I think the guy got in trouble because he walked out of his yard and shot a gun off in the air, and then he called him and was like, okay, I'm ready to sell. But this is so much better. Like, it's not like really coming apart here too much. There's a little bit of something right there.
It's the same spot. It always starts right here for some reason, and then it goes across the front. I don't know.
All the way. Okay.
That's just I guess the weakest link. But the best part is up here.
Yeah.
It's warped a little bit, but it's not that bad.
Nothing like compared to what that other one is.
No.
Because it does go down right there. It is up a little bit right here, but nothing compared to that.
It had a Fast and Furious, tack bolted right there. It looks
why is that? Is it like every JDM car that comes from Japan is got a tack? Like they have to put a tachometer right there. It's like,
yeah, Freddie's car had like a giant pod all the way down the side of it, and it was all sorts of messed up. That dash was actually worse than both of these.
Okay,
so
well then
you saw the outcome of that one. That
one looks
not that bad.
really good. Like it still looks really good too, because it's been there for at least 3 years now. But this right here, see, this is the unobtainium.
We couldn't get this on that car. What was it, Rex's car?
Yeah,
now,
Rex's
I guess?
car.
So I made this piece basically to mirror that, almost like it had an airbag there, but there was nothing underneath of it because he couldn't find one of these at the time.
Dude.
And only the JDM cars have this, and since it's right-hand drive, a left-hand drive airbag cover or whatever doesn't fit.
Dude, it was impossible to find that. I'm telling you,
I
spent
a good
hours
score.
online with that. And then not only that, the vents and stuff like that too. So
yeah, the little guy up there.
We've got some samples here, and I kind of want to take a look at like what we're gonna do with these samples and the colors
and the choices that we've gotten. So I brought the gas lid door with me here, and we are going to kind of put it up against some colors. I really like I'm gonna put the picture of it right now, the picture of the Porsche that you sent me that had the green and tan. It looks really, really good. So now we have the gas lid door here. Let's go through some of the colors. What would you suggest for that type of color?
So everybody already knows what I'm gonna say, and that's just because forest greens in general just look good with tans, whether or not be a brown or a tan or something like that. But I mean, that one's a little ugly. It's like
it's
mustard.
a little light. It looks really mustardy on camera too. That one's not bad.
That looks like, 1996 Honda Accord green, Like
that really does look like something that would be in a Honda.
Peach, no, that's getting like Ferrari, but not quite.
Yeah, that's not.
Ooh, that one's not bad.
That's better.
That one's horrible.
Yeah, that doesn't
that
look
is
right.
like straight peach. I don't know.
That looks terrible.
And then that one's actually pretty good.
That's not bad, dude. I actually really like the way that looks.
And see that? Porsche. So I guess we're just gonna have to keep this theme going. Porsche paint, Porsche interior.
Paint.
Yeah.
The amazing paint that you didn't think was going to look good.
I didn't think it was.
What do you think of it now?
I stand corrected. I will definitely admit that I was wrong because this color is actually gorgeous.
Dude.
And he knows how I am with Supras because I had one. And I was super against painting it anything other than the actual JDM green.
So it's funny because you're not the only one, man. Like everybody kind of looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I really like looking at the shapes of cars and kind of figuring out what is going to be the overall look of the car. And I kind of compared it to the 911, which has very big quarter panels as well as very big fenders. And it looks, it looks really good. Like it's very similar to that, like that lines, those body
rounded
styles.
edges, that actually gives you the flop. So like you get to see all the different colors of the paint just because of the way the car's shaped. It's nice and rounded and all of that. So like I said, I'll admit I was wrong. That color actually looks a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Okay.
I cannot wait to see it all together because it's going to be gorgeous.
Dude, it's going to be amazing. So I want to come down. Today we're going to be picking all these materials and figuring this out. But I want to come down and help you out with that because I think there's some sanding involved. And I know that's the most fun part of the build.
Yeah, we get to watch Jack sand some more. But I'll be super excited to see that.
I want to run a stitch, dude. I want to learn how to run a stitch. I want to do the stuff that you do on a daily basis. I definitely can never do it as good as you, but I want to help and kind of just be involved in that process. So that'll be something we do later on. But
well, you're going to tell them, I mean, we kind of liked this color to begin with, just against the green.
Yeah, that does look really good.
But we didn't really tell them how we're going to do the interior. And I think that this Supra should be 100% leather everywhere. No plastic, no Alcantara, no nothing, all leather. As much as we can put in there.
I love that idea.
So
I love that idea, bro. That's going to be insane.
Yeah, to watch you can wrap some of the stuff, but leather can be difficult to work with. Like I'm pretty sure you can handle this part of the dash. So I'll let you do this part.
This tiny little section.
This section right here, you got no problem.
I'm gonna look at it every time and be like, "Damn it, I messed that up."
No, it's closest to your knee. You should be able to do that.
I just won't look in that direction while driving.
I'll do the entire thing, all beautiful, and then I'll leave this part for you to do because this part it's not that bad. And the leather that we're gonna use, it's gonna be split, so it'll be a little bit more stretchy. I wouldn't say quite, vinyl wrap status, but it'll be easier to work with than. If we had full thickness.
So you got something else in your hand there too. What is this?
Oh yeah, so we picked this up and this is from Seatbelt Planet and I think we're gonna re-web your seatbelts in a dark forest green.
I think that would look really good. Against this, it looks
It's okay. It looks pretty good, but I think mixed with the brown.
Yeah, the brown really sets it off.
Across it, and then the separation between the paint and the interior, that green just going across, it might actually end up even looking black.
I think it's going to be a really nice accent to it because we've already talked about putting gold on this car. I want to put gold wheels as well as gold emblems. I got something really special planned for the emblems, but let's discuss a little bit about the actual customization. There is something that we're going to do that has never been done on a Supra, to at least to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's not new, right? It's not a new technology, is it?
No, it's not new. It's just become a little trendy, but it hasn't really trickled its way into the JDM world as much as maybe it should. It's partially because, you know, not that I want to say you're going to blow your budget, but the material,
blown.
yeah, the material itself is actually kind of expensive because there's a person who makes it by
so
hand.
It's handmade.
Yeah. Well, it's handmade in a machine, so it's almost like a loom. And we might as well just talk about it because I have some right here. And it's just a basket weave. So
that looks really cool.
This is mixed Alcantara with leather. And like you can see, they're all individual strips of leather woven
really
in
cool.
between each piece.
Man, that looks so good. And you can do like different sizes. You can do
different sizes of the square of the weave. You can not do different colors. You can just do, you know, the same
one color.
Yeah, like all of it in this this brown.
I think that would be absolutely epic. All of it in that brown. I think that would be probably the best look. I don't know, maybe something in between it, maybe separating it with like an Alcantara that's the same color or something like that, but I don't know, maybe.
Well, that's going to be up to you because, you know, we have that Ferrari over there. We're looking at it, and
let's take a look at that really quick and kind of compare.
That has no Alcantara in it whatsoever. So if you're going for that crazy high-end look,
oh yeah,
it is just straight leather. Don't look at the roof because that's actually why it's here.
That is awesome.
But I mean, they don't use Alcantara at all. Sometimes they do on the headliner only, or maybe, you know, if it's like their sportier version, they'll put Alcantara in the dash or whatever. But the real luxury cars, they're just straight leather.
Dude, that thing smells amazing.
Yeah, it does.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about was the condition of these parts. So when I got these parts over in the middle of America, I actually was able to find some really good parts. I mean, tell me the last time you found a Supra panel. Obviously, it's really dirty, but it's not scratched up. It's not been hodgepodge together. It's
not broken or cracked.
They're always broken, like right here,
it
right
splits
there.
right there too, because, you know, people have a hard time getting around the. And this is was this a Targa top car?
No, this was a hardtop car.
Oh, okay, because like these always get broken around like the little Targa top mechanism where people can't figure out how to put it on and they just break it.
There's actually like a hidden screw, and you always think you're like, oh, it's fine, it's ready to come off, and then you go pull on it, and then it's like break,
snap, yeah, and then you're like, great, and then you try and find one of these. But a lot of people would add speakers and whatnot. Like, once again, I could send you pictures of what the worst Supra, you know, that Freddie had. It had a hole here, a giant one right there.
Oh my gosh.
And a big speaker, but look, it's like curved. So, I mean, the speaker was just kind of floating
sticking
across
out all
it.
goofy.
Yeah. So I had to fill that because, you know, I guess you couldn't find the panels. Right-hand drive stuff is a little bit, it's not a little bit harder to get, but, you know, good panels.
They're starting to become more available. So I've noticed like there's a lot of Americans that are bringing in right-hand drive cars.
Yeah, they're very popular right now. Like the right-hand drive ones, you know, they just seem to be like more readily available than left-hand drive. And I've always, since I had one, I always liked the left-hand drive cars better, not hating on your right-hand drive. But to me, it always felt, you know, a little bit more special because it was the car that came to the United States.
Everybody's been telling me to make it left-hand drive, but I didn't because I don't care. I actually like right-hand drive cars. I'm weird like that. I know that it's like a thing, like where it's like, hey, like let's swap over everything on the firewall. But guess what? I'm not going to do that. It's too much work. And not only that, it kind of ruins the structural integrity of the car. And I mean, I did put a frame rail in this car, but I put it in exactly how they would have done it from
structural,
Toyota.
Yeah, you cut that car up 30 ways to Sunday.
Maybe.
Yeah. But you welded it all back together. It's safe.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you was I could not find another headliner, and this headliner is pretty roached. It's not good, and it's
actually fine.
Really, like to me, because there's a big break, like right in this section here. Like it's got like a big chunk that's broken right there. It's got broken spots in the front over there. It's got some cracks over here, and it's really pretty gross. I mean, this was actually upside down like the other way, so it wasn't collecting dust, but it's nasty. It's like a 30-year smoked car.
Yeah, it has that nice JDM smell to it.
Yeah, it does.
It's not bad, actually. I know that you think it's worse than it is.
How would you fix something like that? Because
So this
to me,
is actually a pretty important part, like that. I'm surprised it's still there. Most of them aren't. But this is the only spot besides the front and the visors that it's held in place.
Yeah.
So like it clips in on the hard tops.
Well, this one
and that's
actually,
why it's broken.
This one's custom. You want to see the custom mounting locations? Just spin it around.
Custom mounting?
Yeah, check this out. So you see, there's one right there.
Oh, screws.
There's
Nice.
one right there.
And all they needed was a little bit of Velcro,
Bro,
which I can get you. You know, it's hard snap Velcro. Like, it's not that big of a deal to put
You know
up
what
there.
they did? They screwed that into the drip rail molding. So now basically I've got all of these parts over here, Matt. We're gonna get the material ordered. We're going to get a bunch of other little things taken care of. Also, we're gonna do something really special. That's right. So Matt just pointed something out to me that I totally forgot about. I wanna make this car like the gentleman's GT car. I know it's a sports car, and some of my friends who love Supras will argue with me about calling it a GT car, but there is something very special that I want to do to the interior panels, and that is I want to get some nice carbon panels. Like every carbon panel I've seen that's made for these always looks like junk.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of companies that
sorry.
actually, no, it's
Sorry.
fine. You're just stepping on bubble wrap, ruining the video. Not to say it. But they're always like either stick on or if they're full replacement ones. The thing that stinks about the full replacement ones,
They don't fit.
it's not only that they don't fit, they don't flex.
Oh,
and you need a little bit of flex when you're putting it together, because like the shifter part in front of it, the way it clips down in there actually has to move a little bit.
Yeah.
So the full carbon ones, they're cool, they look really nice and everything, but I think you'd be better off doing a real carbon overlay over this whole thing. And then we get to pick how you want to do it.
Yes.
So, you know, you had talked about different carbon fiber designs like weaves or whatever.
Yeah.
And that allows you to have unlimited options when we go to do this if we have somebody do an overlay over it.
I really like the drier, like, you know, flat
Satin.
carbon satin.
Yeah.
Because I think in this car, if you were to do all of this really nice interior work, and then you have this really shiny piece of carbon, which is basically the whole chunk of the interior in that one section.
Yeah.
I think that would kind of take away from the car.
It's a big section of it, and that's
Yeah.
like one of my gripes always with Supras is like the ones where the panels are painted like the same as the car. I don't know why.
It looks weird.
It does look weird to me, and it almost kind of takes the car down a notch.
It does.
And your idea for
It looks
the car,
boy racer.
yeah, and your idea for the car, like what you're planning on doing with it, I think doing the whole like GT, you know, taking inspiration from Aston, Porsche, all of that, and throwing it into a JDM car is a brilliant idea. So like, why not make it super, super high end, nice, you know, and a satin weave, like carbon fiber, would look a lot better than a glossy one. Don't get me wrong, I love glossy carbon fiber, but satin mixed with the emerald green and that brown is just super classy.
That's going to set it off.
It's going to be so classy, like it's just going to make the car in general just feel richer.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's a Supra, but still, like it's going to make it just that much better.
I think it would be, to me, that would make this, it would finish the look that I want for the car. It would give it that, like, it's not like it's more European vibe.
Yeah.
So I know it is a JDM car, and it still keeps all the JDM noises.
Porsche paint.
Yeah.
Porsche leather.
Yeah.
So, I mean, might as well go continue with Porsche, and Porsche would do carbon fiber, and they do satin. So what's the harm in making the inside, you know, majority inspired by that? Same with the basket weave.
So many people are going to hate me for that, but it's okay because I do what I like.
Yeah.
I want to have a car that is going to be something really special. And I think just before, you know, when we did the Evo, the interior idea I gave you was, hey, I like the GT3 interior. I think that looks really smooth and very clean. And I said, you know, here's the interior. You're the man, roll with it. The only thing I want is, you know, it's going to be blue, so the car's blue. And Matt basically found all of the interior stuff for that. He found the material, which is still inside there over there. He just showed it to me like a few hours ago. I didn't even recognize it. But it was like, yeah, so the interior was something that I wanted to be, you know, still sporty, but at the same time elegant. And you knocked that out of the park, and you actually won an award for that. We should check that out really quick, because
oh yeah,
still
that's
in there.
back up there somewhere. But what I was gonna say about the Evo though, like the Evo is a little bit different than the Supra. Like Evos are nice cars, but they're very, very, I mean, this has a lot of plastic in it too, but the Evo is even more plastic.
Yeah.
And that car kind of suited the Alcantara a little bit better, I think.
Yeah.
Because of the way you were doing the builds, the wheels, like everything just felt more like street race car.
Yes.
Than super elegant. So even though we picked really nice materials and all of that, the Alcantara had a better place in that car than, say, this Supra, because I really do think that having it be full leather everywhere is going to make it feel like that.
Yes, and
I
think that's the goal with this car.
Wouldn't that be funny? You know, you sit there, the famous Fast and Furious quote, right? I mean, it is true. You already put it in there, but now you're going to have, you know, Porsche, not Ferrari, but a nicer interior that comes in your Supra than, say, this car.
Dude, and the thing is, I don't have $500,000 or over that for one of these cars. And I think bringing that experience to the JDM market and the cars, I think it's just needed, because these are special cars, and guys our age now are buying these cars up and building them to the way they would want them as a you know, a distinguished gentleman now. Well, so I'm distinguished, if you didn't know.
Exactly. we had that conversation. You know, our generation is moving into, you know, the older generation that was doing the '69 Camaros and all of that. And for us, it was JDM cars for most of the people that were, you know, really into tuning in the '90s and the 2000s. But now you have a little bit more money, and you want to have the best version of the car you wanted when you were 18 or 20 or whatever. And doing it this way is better than owning it when it was, you know, 1995 or 1993.
Exactly.
It's going to be, and modern technology, like you were talking about with your engine stuff that I won't say, is pretty sweet.
Pretty.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is cool, and I think it comes full circle. And I you know, Porsche really helped with their older 911s, and companies like Gunther Works and Singer and all of them, you know, showing people that it was worth spending money on some of these older cars.
Exactly.
And the Supra is definitely one of them. Whether you think it's worth what it is, they're a great car. I love that car. I miss mine. I kind of wish I would have kept it.
You gotta send me some pictures, and I'll drop some B-roll of what yours looked like. It was ahead of its time.
I got it. And you know what? I took a lot of the hate for the interior because mine was so out of the normal for the time frame. Because mine was like tan. You'll probably recognize it. It looks very similar to Rex's car, almost identical. But
wonder where that idea came from.
I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, like I did the whole thing in I think it was a Bentley Color 2 back then, and nobody liked it. Everybody thought it was too weird. And I had diamonds in it, and I understand like it kind of didn't fit the car because it wasn't. The timing was wrong.
Yeah.
But now, like what you're doing with all of this, I think it's time to show what a really top-notch, like beautifully done, mostly, you know, leather and high-end materials on the seats too. You didn't even show the seats.
Yeah.
Is going to be.
That's right. We got to show them the seats.
Yeah, because we got you some special seats that fit the Supra pretty well and are hyper comfortable and bought them brand new to rip them apart. Yeah, so
my
that's
favorite
cool.
thing to do. Like, give me a Sawzall, I will cut anything up. Just saying.
Me, it's a razor blade.
Yeah, there you go. And we chose this guy right here. So this is the Recaro Sportsters.
Recaro Sportster GT.
GT. So the GT basically means it comes with
just this
type of material here. It looks like blue jeans.
Well, it's like a tweed material.
It's pretty cool, actually, though.
Well, we did it this way because we were ripping it up.
You don't want to spend.
Why buy the leather ones if we're just going to destroy them?
We could just spend more money to get leather, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I'll even put the little tag back on and everything.
So basically, you did this though. The reason why we chose this material is also because the leather is harder to make templates of.
Well, to a degree. Like if the leather's really old, it's shrunk a little bit, or it's just hard. It's hard to work with. The cloth actually isn't the best, way to make patterns. If we had got these in vinyl, that would have been better than this.
That would be the best material.
But it was more money and there was no reason to do it. And it's not that much harder for me to do. But the difference with cloth is it's stretchy. So like the patterns may be a little bit different based off of the way they sewed it.
Okay.
But that doesn't matter because
you're going to fit it and do all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to fit it and resew it. So, but what we are going to do is because the original Recaro Sportster CSs, don't have this, V design down the middle of it. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Nah, it looks weird.
But I just wanted the seat and the foam. And this part I don't care about, so we're gonna smooth all of this out. And that was what we were thinking about with the basket weave. Using this whole center section, coming up to there, maybe this panel too. What about doing the Recaro in green?
Dude,
to match?
That'd be sick. I think doing the Recaro in green and then having the basket weave coming down the back section right there, that's gonna look awesome. And these right here, we should do those in carbon as well.
Yeah, take these off and do them in carbon.
Oh, dude.
I would say maybe the back of the seat too, but it's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't. I would actually like.
My kids are going to kick the back of the seat.
Exactly. If you paint them, it'll just get ruined.
They're going to kick it because I'm probably driving too fast and scaring them.
They're going to kick it because the back seat of a Supra is like that big.
Exactly.
You can't even really sit in it. You have to sit across it.
They're at the age now where they'll fit, and like in a couple of years, my wife's going to be like, hey, we can't drive in that car anymore, so you should get rid of it. And then I'm going to be like, no,
then you just get a chaser so you can fit everybody.
There you go. See, 4 doors for kids.
Exactly.
That's why I buy 4-door cars.
Exactly.
Dude, but these look really good. I'm very happy with the choice of these. I think they're going to fit really well. Also, right here, it doesn't poke out too much because...
No, Supras are hard to fit like old school racing seats in because the top shoulder bolsters are always really wide and they always run into the door. Like RX-7s are actually really bad for that. Like this seat fits okay in an RX-7. It's still a little tight, but you can normally shift like the bracket inwards a little bit and it's close, but it works. But in the Supra, it's kind of the same thing, but these seats fit really nice in there and they're super comfortable.
They look comfy.
Like for a racing seat, they're pretty comfortable.
I like the fact that it's, it's still a seat that can handle a lot of power. Yeah. Because, like you don't want a seat that's just going to flop back on you when you floor the car.
No, that's why you actually buy the Recaros instead of the other seats because, they are better in that respect. If something was to happen, they're going to hold up a little bit better.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, in general too, they just, these seats fit the overall build of what you're going to do with the car.
I think so. Because they're not like so racy that they're going to look weird or out of place with all of that leather. And I think it's going to really set that car off. So, well, I gotta go because it is getting dark outside. It's a 3-hour drive back.
You can turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's going to be like midnight before I get home. So my glass slippers are going to fall off and they're going to have to find me. So, all right, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you, man. That was great. I should have done, here.
Oh yeah, there we go, perfect.
All right, man, I'm gonna head out. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. We're gonna be back at the shop. We're gonna discuss a few more things about the car, and then maybe I'll show you something special that I've been kind of hiding from everybody. That was a really long trip. I am extremely tired, guys. I have literally been driving all day down to South Florida and then now back. It is probably about midnight right now. So I'm gonna show you one more thing on the car that I plan to modify and make look really, really cool and very clean and awesome. It's gonna do something that's gonna clean up the interior on this car. Now, one of the things that I absolutely hate about this car is the steering wheel. So the steering wheel is this cheesy, I don't know if this is it's a NRG. Nothing against them, but this doesn't really suit the car. It doesn't look good. So I will be replacing this, and I have found something that is going to work out with this, and we're going to put a 3-spoke Supra wheel on there, but not just any 3-spoke Supra wheel. We're going to put something special. And I think I'm going to do a carbon one. Probably going to have Matt wrap the leather parts of it, but yeah. That's what I wanted to tell you guys, because I hate that steering wheel probably just as much as you guys do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.